Welcome back, everybody. This is Jason White for Mental Health for America. Today we're going to be talking about two things dealing with mental illness. We'll be talking about major depression and bipolar disorder, as well as reading Mackeinze Dennison's story, which I promised you on Sunday. So let's just go ahead and get started. We're going to start out with major depression. Major depression is defined as a mood disorder causing a persistent feeling of sadness and general loss of interest. It affects more than 3 million people in the United States every year, and that's just the diagnosed cases. Remember, there's a lot of people that believe they don't have a problem and choose to try to deal with it. Major depression symptoms and causes range from brain chemistry to life events. The persistent feeling of sadness or loss of interest that characterizes major depression can lead to a range of emotional and physical conditions. Antidepressant medications and psychotherapy treatment can be used to treat major depression. Talk therapy and other non-medicational approaches are often helpful too. The sources for major depression information is going to be Google. You can just get right on there and Google it and find exactly what I read to you. The next thing we're going to be covering is bipolar disorder. Bipolar is defined as a disorder associated with mood swings ranging from depressive lows to manic highs. More than 3 million reported U.S. cases a year. Mood swings of bipolar disorder may often occur a few times a year to several times a day. It varies from person to person and case to case. For some, the depression and mania may exist at the same time. The main symptoms of bipolar disorder is periods of elevated mood, which they classify as mania, and then the other periods of depressing moods, which is defined by major depression. The disorder can be controlled with medication and counseling. These are very useful tools. The source for that is also Google. You can find the information I just read. All you have to do is type in bipolar or major depression, and it will give you a little box, usually on the right hand side of the screen, that will give you all the information I just read to you, plus more statistics on both of these disorders if you're interested in learning any more. We're going to get moving right along to Mackeinze Dennison's story. I had the opportunity to meet Mackeinze Dennison a while back. She told me her story. I then asked her if she would be willing to share her story to the world. I felt like her story would help to inspire other people. She thought about it and emailed me back her story. So now I'm going to read to you how her story is written. She has also included some pictures that we're going to clip in at the appropriate sections of the story. My story starts on May 2nd, 2012, my 18th birthday. It's also the day of my grandmother's funeral. One of the worst days of my life. She was my best friend for 18 years. She was my go-to woman. I would spend the weekends with her. We would go shopping, walk at the fish hatchery, search for boys, or just visit family members. I loved staying with my grandmother. Less than a year after that, my best friend passed away from complications with diabetes. I only knew him for 10 months, but we were so close. We were more like brother and sister than just friends. You never seen one without the other by their side. Where he went, I went. Where I went, he went. Everyone knew if you invited Brian or I to an event that the other would be there too. I would spend the nights with him, staying up talking and playing video games all night long. After he passed away was the first time I was hospitalized. I had become depressed and started to cut myself just to feel pain. My diagnosis was bipolar, agoraphobia, anxiety disorder, panic disorder, depression, and panic attacks. I was only hospitalized for 3 days because I signed myself out. I was only 18 and didn't think I needed help. Afterwards, I spent 24/7 with friends just driving around in my car. On December 3rd, 2013, I started moving into my own apartment. For the first time, I had moved out of my parents' house. I was so excited. I would go to work, come home, cook dinner, and then clean the apartment top to bottom. Things were going good for me until December 27th, 2013, when I was in a horrible car accident. We actually have some pictures of the vehicle that Mackeinze has given us. The other car, the car to be found at fault, was driven by the mom of one of my good friends since the 6th grade. The woman unfortunately passed away in the accident. Her daughter now blames me for the death of her mother. That hurts me so much inside, and I think about it every day. In the wreck, my brake pedal jammed my leg up and the dashboard jammed my leg down, causing me to break my fibula in 2 places. I had never broken a bone in my life. I had also broken my tibia in 1 place. I thought it was just a sprain because at the time I couldn't feel anything in my right ankle. They had to use the jaws of life to open my door and pry the dash off of me. Then they had to cut the roof of my car to pull me out. I was med-flighted to Bristol, Tennessee. I'm scared to death of flying, and I kept thinking that the door was going to open and I would fall out. In the ER, I got 8 stitches from the top of my leg where the dashboard was on my leg. I was sent for tests where they started moving around my ankle for x-rays when I started to feel the pain. After the test, I was sent to the pre-operation room. I kept asking for something to relieve some of the pain, but they just told me I had to wait for surgery. When I woke up from the surgery, I had a metal bar completely through the heel of my foot, 2 bars sticking out of my leg, and a 3rd bar connecting them. We have pictures of that device here. I was scared, in unbearable pain, and didn't have a clue what they did to my ankle. My mother told me what they had done was put something they called a fixator to pull the bones apart. I was in the hospital for a week while the doctors tried to control my pain. Finally, when I got released, I had to go to my parents' house because I had steps to my apartment and I could only walk on my left leg. On January 13th, 2014, I had to go for another surgery. This time they put 16 screws and 3 metal plates in my right ankle. We have some pictures of the x-rays. Doctors told me I was lucky because I was so close to not being able to bear any weight at all on my ankle again. For that surgery, I was in the hospital for another week. The next 4 months or so, I had to move into my parents' living room, sleeping on their love seat. I can't remember Christmas of 2013 or most of the time I lived with my parents. The only thing I remember of December 2013 is the wreck that changed my life at only 19 years old. I have over $80,000 in medical bills even after the medical insurance was paid. My lawyer, which is wanting $8,000 of that, and my medical insurance is asking to be reimbursed $23,327 because they are all a self-insured plan. So I'll have to pay the $80,000 plus in medical bills myself. I cannot work because of the constant pain and swelling in my ankle. I can only stand on my ankle for about 5 minutes before it tries to give out. On top of it all, the wreck triggered my mental illnesses again. I thought my life was over. I couldn't walk, I couldn't work, I couldn't even clean my own house or even cook for myself. I kept thinking, I'm useless. Why even keep living? Things got bad. I thought about killing myself. I mean, what did I have to live for, right? Well, in the end, I was wrong. I have a boyfriend to help me around the house and a very loving family from my mom's side. On June 28th, 2015, I was hospitalized for a second time, where I was put on 3 different medications. I couldn't sleep or eat because I was so depressed. When I got out, things were okay for a while. Then less than a month later, things got way worse. I was having the same thoughts, just this time I couldn't sleep without having nightmares, caused by the Resveratrol they put me on the second hospitalization. I started hearing voices and breaking down constantly. I felt like I was going insane. On July 28, 2015, I was sent to a crisis stabilization unit where I stayed for a week. Now, with the help of my mom's side of the family, because my dad's side disowned me, I'm working on recovery. This time, they added major depression disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder to my list of diagnoses. I struggle day to day with my illness, but I've been staying strong. I have 3 to 5 doctor's appointments every month. Because of the $80,000 of current copays and medication costs, I started a GoFundMe, which has raised about $255 so far. We will provide you with a link to the GoFundMe page down below. If you'd like more information about my story, you can feel free to email me at Kinsey Noel, that's KINZENOEL 2012 at gmail.com. Thank you for listening to my story. Now that's a story of somebody who has been through so much. I mean, most people wouldn't have survived that. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of stress. That's just a lot of stuff going on at once. And if Mackeinze can pull through it a stronger person, then anybody can. You need help. And if you feel like you need help, or if you have a loved one that you believe may need some help, and are having trouble finding the resources or an opening, feel free to email us at mentalhealth4america@gmail.com. We will do everything we can to try to find you a bed, to try to find the resources to make it happen. Nobody deserves to be left alone. And here at Mental Health for America, we're here to let everybody know you are not alone. Thank you.